Now, I'm going to talk to you today. I'm going to tell you a little bit, I'm going autobiographical here, to tell you how I learned to live with guts. So I was brought into this world in a pretty brutal manner. I was raised on the fringes of the mob and motorcycle gang members. I was horrifically abused as a kid, set on fire, used as a human dartboard. I was homeless at 15. Everything I owned fit in this little orange duffel bag, right? And my last couple years in high school, I was bouncing from place to place to place. But I did my best. I did my best to do well in school. And fortunately for me, because people in my huddle saw things in me I didn't see in myself, I got a full ride football scholarship to Georgia Tech. That was sort of a big deal. As a freshman at Georgia Tech, I did well. I was starting at the end of my freshman year. I played outside linebacker. I was a dean's list student. Things were going well, really, really well. I had died and gone to heaven. The first game I played in was against the University of Alabama in Birmingham, in front of 85,000 people. The guy that was starting ahead of me got hurt. I went in the game, and I was getting annihilated. Paul Bear Bryant was the coach. I was getting completely annihilated, but I've never been so happy. I would jump on guys' backs, and they'd run 4 yards down the field and fall down. I'm like, take that! Late in the game, something happens. We get the ball, we score. They get the ball back. We're up by 2 points. They miss a 37-yard field goal. We win the game. It was nuts. They were the #1 team in the nation. The whole stadium was just like completely silent except the 400 Georgia Tech fans that were in the stadium. They stormed the field, 400 of them, because, everybody else is red in Alabama colors. And they attacked you, and we're like, this is awesome. It was awesome. I never felt so much exuberance in my life. And then after that game, we lose every single one. We go 1-10. We were terrible. It was hilarious. So what the byproduct was, I played a lot. Coach Curry brings me in after the season and he says, Sam, we're so glad you came here. And I'm like, you're glad? I'm really glad. Like I get to eat. I have a roof over my head. People aren't trying to beat me up or stab me or shoot me. This is awesome, And he says, barring injury, we think that you will be a top 10 round draft pick and you're going to play in the NFL. You'll be an All-American. I couldn't be happier. And 6 months later, my career was over. My football career was over. In spring practice, I had a pair of broken shoulder pads. I blew both my shoulders out. Dr. Allman, our team doctor, says, Sam, your career's over. You can't play anymore. The problem was my self-worth was connected to who I was on the football field. And if I wasn't playing football and if I wasn't contributing, I felt terrible. And Dr. Allman said, we can do these radical reconstructive surgeries, but you may not recover. And I said, well, let's do the surgeries. Before I left his office, I had them both scheduled. So I had this first surgery, and I wake up from surgery, my hands like immobilized like this, tubes are coming out of everything, and I'm projectile vomiting. Whoa! I'm like, what did they do to me? What have they done? Right? And Dr. Allman's like, son, there's some problems in there. We had to get these bone chips out there, and we put these big titanium screws, and we cramped them down on the, just tell me all this kind of stuff. And so I went back to Atlanta. I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I ran across campus. I went into the Olympic-sized swimming pool, and I swam for an hour like I had special needs because I could barely move my freaking arms. I ran back across campus, climbed the fence of Bobby Dodd Stadium, and I ran every single stadium stair in the whole damn stadium. Took me an hour and 20 minutes. And then I went to breakfast while my lazy friends were getting out of bed. I had worked out for 2.5 hours. I went to school, I went to rehab, I went to the weight room, and I rinsed and repeated for months. But nothing. It was the first time in my life where this concept of hard work, the grind, doing your best, just didn't pay off. So I did what I could do. The only thing I knew what to do was I went to Bill Curry. I said, Coach Curry, I don't know what to do. Now, you guys don't know Bill Curry out here, but in the South, man, he was a legendary NFL football player. He was an all-pro. He was coached by Don Shula and Vince Lombardi. He had 3 Super Bowl championship rings. He was the president of the NFL Players Association, and he was in his first year of coaching. But he knew a lot that I didn't know. He knew how to live with guts and be his best self because he played against Ray Nitschke. The first time he ever went against Ray Nitschke in a drill, Ray Nitschke broke his face mask, broke his nose, and knocked him out. And he had to figure out whether he's going to play against Ray Nitschke again or not. He did. he became his best self. He probably was never as good as Ray Nitschke, but he became the best Bill Curry that he could be. And he knew how to do that, and he taught Sam Bracken how to do that. He taught me how to be the best person I can be. So because of that, I want to teach other people. So here's what he told me to do. He said, Sam, I want you to go to the bookstore and get a 3-ring binder. I want you to put 4 tabs in that binder and label them mind, body, heart, and soul. And then I want you to put paper behind each tab. And then the first thing I want you to do is take a personal inventory of where you're at right now. Write down where you're at. Be brutally honest. And then I want you to turn the page in each tab and write down where you want to be a year from now. One thing. Only one thing. One big gutsy goal. One thing. That's it. Because if you put too many things, you'll get nothing done. And then I want you to turn the page in each tab and I want you to write down a compelling purpose and motivation and reason to accomplish the goal. Because there's power in purpose. There's absolute power in purpose.